What in the name? Wicked choice.
Hey there, my little red bots, this is Red Let's Play, and welcome to Defense Against the Dark Arts class, taught this year by Remus Lupin, this year being Harry Potter's third year at Hogwarts, titled The Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's get into the first thing, magic you may have missed. As I said before, this is similar to the Spellcaster Knowledge in the Chamber of Secrets.
So everyone knows you saw what you saw, but what did you see? Use Professor Lupin's projector to have a closer look at the magic you may have missed. Answer the questions to see how right you are. Let's have a closer look at details you may have missed along your journey.
Room 11.
Something just disappeared. Was it a chair, a bottle, or a cup?
So the guy's referring to the bottle, that was cloaked over by one of the guys working there, and then it disappeared when he was going to brush it. Hush it.
Very observant.
Housekeeping.
Which item continues to clean as the maid does her rounds? Is it a broom, an old rag, or a feather duster?
It was very clearly a broom. I never saw any rags or feather dusters there.
Excellent.
The accidental magic reversal department was dispatched immediately. She has been properly punctured and her memory modified. She will have no recollection of the incident whatsoever. So that's that.
Something in the room is quite bewitched. Is it a walnut, a grandfather clock, or a feathered quill?
It's a feathered quill. It's still working even though no one's touching it.
Excellent.
Still writing something.
Would anyone like to venture a guess as to what is inside?
That's a boggart, that is.
Very good, Mr. Thomas. Now, can anybody tell me what a boggart looks like?
No one knows. Boggarts are shapeshifters. They take the shape of whatever a particular person fears the most. That's what makes them so...
In Professor Lupin's Defense Against the Dark Arts class, who or what magically appears out of thin air? Hermione, a boggart, or a Dementor?
The boggart's still in the wardrobe. The Dementor is what the boggart appears as in front of Harry. They muted what Ron was speaking for a reason. He said, "When'd she get here?" referring to Hermione.
Well done.
I haven't shown anyone.
No, not a soul. Not unless you count Tom,
The day maid,
the night maid,
the cook,
that bloke who came to fix the toilet.
and that wizard from Belgium, Mrs. Weasley.
Good to see you, dear.
Good to see you too.
Now you've got everything you need.
Yep.
Yes, all of your...
When it's time for tea, how does it appear in your cup? By flue powder, bewitched teapot, or Tom the innkeeper's spell?
Well, we don't know who bewitched the teapot, but it was very clearly pouring the tea for you. We have no idea if it was Tom the innkeeper who bewitched it. We do know that it was bewitched.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
Keep calm, everyone. Right. The headmaster's here. Come on, move. No. You heard? Move!
Did you notice who appears in the most paintings? Is it the brave and noble Sir Cadogan, the fat lady, or an ordinary giraffe?
while the fat lady's true painting is there, she's not in it. While the brave and noble Sir Cadogan did appear here, he didn't appear in the most paintings. Since an ordinary giraffe is very tall, well, it can more than easily appear here in the most paintings, given it's close enough to the point of view.
Impressive.
Oh, sure, yeah, but...
Room 11.
What magical incident did not occur? Tea being stirred, a violin playing itself, or the chairs stacking on top of a table?
The last few times I was fooled by chairs being stacked because I thought it was chairs being because he said chairs stacked on a table, which did happen, but sometimes you may think chairs being stacked one on top of the other, which did not. Either way, the violin playing itself still didn't happen. Just because John Williams does have a few violins in the orchestras that play his scores, doesn't mean that they're on set actually playing, nor does that mean that they're gonna have a violinist there colored out so as to make it look like the violin's playing itself.
Impressive.
Just do it. Expecto Patronum!
What items appear magically to hover while Harry faces the boggart? Candles, orbs, or books?
The orbs were definitely hovering, even though they seemed to hover away from the action and when it began.
Good eyes.
Yep.
Yes, all of your books.
Yeah, it's all upstairs.
And all of your clothes.
Everything's there.
Good boy.
Thank you.
Harry Potter.
Mr. Weasley?
Harry, wonder if I might have a word.
Yeah, sure.
Manny.
Good morning, Mr. Weasley.
What magic does the seated wizard demonstrate? Does he balance a stack of plates, levitate a teapot, or snake charm a rope?
The only thing I ever remember seeing is balancing a stack of plates. I have no idea. Like I said, we have no idea who had bewitched the teapot.
You must look closer. Excellent. Now, wasn't that a magical experience? Would you like to play again?
Even though I got one wrong, it still says I was excellent. So, you can choose to replay, or you can go back to Defense Against the Dark Arts to tour the classroom, which we're going to do.
Quickly! We mustn't be late for Defense Against the Dark Arts class. One can only hope that Professor Lupin is well, so Snape doesn't have to replace him. Remember to use your arrow keys to navigate your way at the stopping points, and have a look around.
I wouldn't be surprised if JK Rowling herself would have written the test for all the stand-in actors playing the students. So as to identify which house their uniform should revolve around.
Have a look over here to your left and see the mysterious artifacts that line the walls. In Year 3, the curriculum teaches us about dark creatures such as hinkypunks and kappas. I wonder what fantastic beasts these tusks and artifacts are from.
So yeah, the version of Hedwig's theme used here isn't exactly the same Hedwig's theme that was in Philosopher's Stone. I guess it would reflect the director, make it as very artsified.
Are you up for a game of dominoes while we wait for Professor Lupin to arrive? Or perhaps it's a good time to do some revision. Or maybe your game is cards, wizard or otherwise. This looks like a spirited game. Why not try your luck?
I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk finding out that I wasn't very lucky. Oh, bloody hell. Which is why I don't rely on luck. And I'm only willing to have a gamble on things that I'm actively doing myself.
It's always good to study any chance you get. You never know when there will be a test. To the right, we can see even more items. Perhaps they are from Professor Lupin's travels.
I don't know if I've talked about this last time in the Philosopher's Stone, but Quirrell, prior to the events of it, fantasized about how taking down Voldemort, and in doing so, I went out, I traveled a lot, and did so because he wanted as much experience in the field as possible. As a fellow Ravenclaw, I have to compliment this wise action, but not so much his allowing Voldemort to possess his body.
Those look like dragon's eggs, don't they? As we move to the right, you'll see quite a few skulls and heads, some quite shrunken. A wide variety of shrunken heads can be found in Nocturne Alley, but I don't recommend going there.
I'm pretty sure you've already said that last year. Nevertheless, let's continue on with the tour.
Here comes Professor Lupin from his office. Better find a seat right away. Quickly now, before class begins.
Good afternoon. Intriguing, isn't it?
So this makes it the first activity-based bonus feature featuring the main cast. Because as far as I'm aware, that is indeed David Thewlis as Lupin.
The dark arts seem to favor skulls and shrunken heads, not to mention Grindylows and redcaps. I would not want to encounter such tusks and odd-looking creatures before taking this class.
Especially when they're attached to the living being who's they are. Nevertheless, moving on.
This character's seen better days. I wouldn't have wanted to have a run-in with him when he was around. Professor Lupin is such an engaging professor, covering a wide range of subjects, including werewolves and vampires. Might I suggest you take time to review the section on werewolves?
His being one. Especially considering his being one. Thank you, Greyback.
Let's move past these studious chaps to the encased skulls on the table. Could these be the remains of mischievous students past? Keep studying if you don't want to end up like the one on the left.
Well, being a marauder, Lupin's got to sympathize with them, considering he's had to deal with a younger James Potter and Sirius Black.
Professor Lupin is a master at handling boggarts, of course. I hope we fare as well. Now what was that spell again? Oh, ridiculous. Yes, ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. Oh, dear me.
So if you frame by frame it a little bit, you can actually see the cameraman zooming in on the knob. But for those of you who have only seen the movies, I haven't read the books per se, but I still have a little bit of excess knowledge beyond the movies. Enough to tell you that when the Marauders signed the map, Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, they did so because Remus Lupin here is Mooney, Peter Pettigrew is Wormtail, Sirius Black is Padfoot, and James Potter is Prongs. Hence, all named after their other forms. Remus a werewolf, Pettigrew a rat, Sirius a dog, and James a stag, aka his son's Patronus.
There's really nothing to worry about. You see, there's a boggart in there. And boggarts are very fond of dark, enclosed spaces, like wardrobe, the gap beneath the bed, cupboard under the sink. You know, I once met a boggart that had lodged itself inside a grandfather clock. But the first question we must ask ourselves is, what is a boggart?
What is a boggart indeed?
Wasn't that interesting? Let's have a look over by the stairs. See the old phonograph there? I'm sure Fluffy would enjoy a good tune.
Yeah.
More skulls and what appears to be a creature's spine. That hand looks quite Slytherin-like.
No doubt it's a relic homaging to Salazar Slytherin himself. Nevertheless, we can actually look at Lupin's desk.
Perhaps if we're very quiet, we can have a look at what Professor Lupin is working on. Could be something about boggarts, grindylows, redcaps, or kappas. And don't you wonder what that mysterious potion is that Snape concocts for the good professor?
Considering he's a werewolf, it's probably wolfsbane.
We learn many things about the mysterious Professor Lupin. Why he falls ill when the moon is full, why Professor Snape concocts that potion for him, and why his nickname is Moony. But how did he become such an expert at the administration of chocolate?
That we may never know, but the rest of it, knowing he's a werewolf, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Artifacts, no doubt, preserved for posterity. Oh, there's another poor fella gone, but not forgotten. To the right are texts including Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection by Quentin Trimble, and The Rise and Fall of the Dark Arts.
You haven't got the name of the author for me? Nope. At least we can head out on Hedwig's theme. Or so I think.
Let's have a look at Professor Lupin's office while he's still teaching the class. It's just to the right, up this staircase. It's a bit narrow, isn't it?
As the stairs were in Professor Dumbledore's office.
Do be quiet while class is taking place. Right this way. In here is his study.
I assume all Defense Against the Dark Arts professors use this office.
Let's take a look at Professor Lupin's desk. That's an odd paperweight. No wolfsbane potion lying about, so the full moon can't be due just yet.
Or maybe that was the potion out in the classroom.
Let's take a look at one of the cabinets. Some fascinating items here. I wonder what Professor Trelawney would see in that crystal ball. I'd be afraid to ask, wouldn't you?
Maybe it's about the prophecy. Nevertheless. Anyways, moving on.
In these cases are more ingredients known only to Professor Lupin himself.
Perhaps he needs them for his wolfsbane.
This looks to be some sort of ingredients cabinet with all sorts of apothecary jars. Have a look.
Probably sourced them from Diagon Alley. If you remember, there are some of the apothecary. He's there in the tour. Had several potion ingredients on display.
Before we leave Professor Lupin's office, notice the walls lined with magical ingredients, figures, and relics that he has collected over the years. I do hope you've enjoyed your visit.
So yeah, if you pay attention, you can actually see the shadow of the camera and the reflection of the guy operating it on the cabinets. So, we only have a few more things to do. Tour of Honeydukes and the stuff with the shrunken head. We'll get to them eventually, so, but for now, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video with favorite videos, got all the stuff. Your support is always oh so appreciated. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. Or feedback is just as appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content.
Azkaban is keeping
If you don't want to miss out on it the instant it appears. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.